Here we are at the Qatar Grand Prix preview, lads, and you might think the drama's over because Max Verstappen has won the championship, but it is far from over, especially with 2025 coming up so goddamn soon. Now, at the moment, brilliant result for Max Verstappen. The champagne's flying, social media is erupting, the crowd's going electric, they're all celebrating. They're going to have a huge Christmas party and celebration when they get back at the end of the year. It's great times. 4 championships, back to back, amazing results. But one problem, one fly in the soup here, lads. Adrian Newey has gone, as we all know. He's gone to Aston Martin. Now, how are they going to be fixed for 2025 season? And the next 2 rounds for the 2024 season, the last 2, are going to be a big hint to what's going to be happening in the first few rounds in 2025. Because I'm very concerned for Max Verstappen and Red Bull here. Now, I'm not a fan of his, but I'm concerned for them because with the Grandmaster gone, we're going to see how bad they're going to struggle in the next 2 rounds and this weekend as well. Let's get into it.
Walsh running the Irish green, and look at the move he's making down to the inside.
Moves to the front with the 5th all the way to the lead in lap 1.
Walsh takes win number 2.
Peter. Wow. With Max Verstappen and all the other teams, but let's look at Max Verstappen. He's been dominant. Adrian Newey leaves the team this year. All of a sudden they start struggling. So, for the last 2 rounds, this is going to be a very good indication of where Red Bull are going to be starting in the 2025 season. So you might think this year is all over, but people are looking towards 2025 season already, lads, because again, back to, let's round it out, the budget cap. They can't develop the car as much as they can. They can't throw money at the problem. And the biggest one of all, they're losing their grand champion, the master, Adrian Newey. The guy who's taken over from Adrian Newey, he's got one hell of a shadow above him right now looking down on him. He's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders. I personally think he's going to be struggling because it's going to take them time to make their own footprints in the car. Because if you keep developing, like if an engineer comes in, he might not know exactly what Adrian Newey did with this type of feature. Or even if he does, he'll go, well, why did he do that? You know what I mean? Now, Adrian Newey would probably go to Aston Martin and think the same thing of, oh, okay, well, why do they do that? Now, the likes of an Adrian Newey would figure it out, maybe quicker than a lot of other guys. But I mean, the technical stuff behind the curtain, lads, it would blow your mind. It really would. It would blow your mind. For a lot of the teams now, the pressure's off. So they can take a gamble. They can throw the dice, lads, okay? They can, like Vegas, throw the dice, go all in on something and risk it. Now, again, not necessarily throwing money at a problem, but trying different setups, okay? Or using a slightly variated feature development that they had, let's say, example now, in April or May this year, which worked very well, but it didn't work with these tires. But the fact that it's working well with these tires now, the fact that it worked before and at the start of the year, it didn't work with those tires then, but it actually had potential in high-speed corners. So what they could do is bring in that again now because they've got the tires working very well with their other upgrades. Now they want to capitalize on the high-speed corners. So now we're going to use what we had in May. Let's bring that in now because this feature might help us for the high-speed corners. Now let's combine. So it's kind of like making a cake, lads, right? You're trying some ingredients, put it into the oven, it comes out, it's a bit spicy. No, okay. Well, actually, let's use that spice maybe. But then you're trying to get it to be more, I don't know, more Japanese than Chinese food, right? But then you finally get it to a sort of a Japanese level. Now we want the spicy Japanese. Let's try it. Let's bring in that spice that we used before. Let's see what happens. The art of setting up a car. It's gorgeous. Okay, lads, let's look at the track. I mean, I think this is a really, really cool track, lads. I know it looks a little bit boring online when you're watching it on board, sorry, what I mean. And I think it's very cool. It's a very smooth track. It's a high-speed track. Sort of really, you'd consider it mid-speed to high-speed to a degree, even though there's a couple of slow bends. But the nice thing about Qatar here, lads, is that you can keep the speed up, keep the momentum up. So in many ways, you would treat this track like it's a high-speed track. Now, it wouldn't be Spa. It wouldn't be Monza, right? You know, or somewhere else, or Suzuka, Japan. But it in a way, you would treat it like that, because what this is the most important part of this circuit. Turn 2, I honestly think, is the most important corner on the track. Now, you might look, oh, it looks a bit boring, right? Or it doesn't look very, very technical and stuff. But guys, it's not. Turn 2 is important because it's not about turn 2. Okay? Now, what do I mean by that? Turn 2, if you set the car up, if you go an extra half a mile an hour quicker coming out of that corner, coming out, you're setting up the rest of the next 4 to 5 corners with your momentum coming out of turn 2. So, I don't know the exact speed, but let's say somebody's coming out of that corner at 100 mile an hour. Now, if I'm exiting and getting on that throttle, but I'm at 100.5 mile an hour, I'm going to obviously gain on you, but I'm using that speed, using that momentum, the rhythm, through the next 4 to 5 bends, lads. And that's very, very important because, I mean, we're talking, even if you come out of that corner a half a mile quicker, you could still lose it going down the back straight because you might have too much downforce in your car. Now, it depends on the way they set up their car, right? But the thing is, I think this track will be very, what would you say? The cars will be very identical in terms of the aerodynamical setup they'll have on the car. So not a lot of them will get a huge advantage if they have a lot less downforce or a lot more wing downforce on their car versus someone else, because they all have to have a good level of downforce for this track. Right? The track is very smooth. I think this is going to be working very well for Red Bull. They have obviously struggled through those bumps, even though this year they've been okay. I think the other cars, I think McLaren are going to be rockets around here. Now, again, like we say, I think turn 2 is the key for pole. For the race, it wouldn't necessarily be the key, because you've got those long straights. Even down that main straight turn going into turn 1. That's going to probably be the most important place. Now, if you can manage to keep the keep the momentum up coming out of turn 2, keep the rhythm, keep the speed up, even go faster than the guy in front, and then overtake him, bang, job done. Problem is, if you're not close to the guy coming out of turn 2, if you're just stuck on his bumper, you'll lose downforce going into these next few bends, so therefore you're not gaining a huge advantage. So it is very important in the race to pop out and take in the lead, or overtake the guy at least, and get through and power on out of the next couple of bends. So Qatar, great track, good speed, a very good indication for 2025. Now, here's the other thing we have to take into account here, lads, going into the last 2 rounds. Now, I've been saying this for months, that the stakes were very, very high for Verstappen and Lando Norris this year. Why Verstappen? Because this is potentially his last chance of winning a championship, because I personally think they're going to struggle without Adrian Newey. Even if it's for 1 year and they manage to find something, they're playing catch up now. Now look, I could be wrong. I don't think I am, but we'll see. So they could struggle, and this could be the end. I mean, what if another team starts to dominate in 2026? This could literally be the end. It could be the last championship Max Verstappen wins. And I think Max knows this. Now you've also got Lando Norris. Why were the stakes high for him? Because he just got completely screwed over by his team this year. I mean, unbelievably screwed over. And if he didn't push, if he didn't defend himself, this might come back and haunt him that, I should have stood up to Zach Brown. I should not have let that IndyCar driver get into my car in Mexico. I should not have let him, or I should have put up a fight about Oscar. beating me at those other races when we really should have went doubling, tripling our bets with me to win the championship, and potentially I could have won the championship. You know, you'd be amazed what can mess with a racing driver's mind, guys, you know, especially when you don't end up winning the thing. You know, you start blaming yourself. And I think we can all relate to that to a degree, you know. Oh, I should have done this. I should have said that to her. I should have said that to... You know what I mean? These things can come back and haunt you. And believe me, I know what it's like for a racing driver. I just hope he can heal after this, Lando Norris, because he knows exactly what's going on in McLaren. I've never seen a team work so hard not to win the Drivers' Championship. Anyway, enough of that. I keep talking about this. Now let's resolve this, lads, and let's move on here. We're wrapping up this. Now for Max Verstappen, he's still a fighter. He might realize, or he might have a really bad feeling that this could be it. This could be all over. He'll still want to go out on top and dominate and beat these guys, and to even, not just to just beat them, because it might be his last time of winning a championship and winning races. I mean, seriously, lads, this could happen, okay? It really could. Not just, and I've been saying this for months, not just that. If they do have a chance for 2025, Verstappen and all the other teams and drivers, they know that because there is not huge development changes for next year, the car is not going to differ too much. So if they can get an advantage, if they can find something in the next two races, lads, we've literally started the 2025 season already. This is it. This is the start of the 2025 season right here, right now at Qatar. And they all know it. Lando Norris, I know he's a friend of Verstappen, but he's going to shove it up his ass. And he's also Lando Norris is probably going to shove it up Zak Brown's ass too, because I think what's going on in McLaren is that Oscar Piastri is favoured with Zak Brown. So Lando Norris is certainly going to want to give his own team, I know this sounds weird, his own team the finger. So, guys, okay, prediction. Let's do a prediction. I'm going to have to go with McLaren. I don't think Verstappen's got the pace, man. I don't think he does. Hamilton and Mercedes, I think they're going to be quite good, even though the track itself, I don't know if it's going to favour them. Ferrari, they might be in, out, hard to know. I'm going to go with Lando Norris for the win. Piastri second, Verstappen third. But guys, we'll be back after Qatar. Hope you enjoy. Thanks.
Walsh running the Irish green, and look at the move he's making down to the inside.
Moves to the front from fifth all the way to the lead in lap one.
Walsh takes win number 2.
Peter. Walsh.